Hey guys and gals, so Denmark 7643 here. So I was along for the ride on the SWGOH events Discord when they uncovered the Jedi Knight Luke reveal from the puzzles, and it was pretty exciting stuff. But part of the commentary that I saw on there was just that it was so unfair that Galactic Legends couldn't be defeated unless you had one of your own, and that Kylo was impossible. And it's just not true. So I started sharing the fact that I knew of a way to do it, and I had been climbing without a Galactic Legend of my own for a long time now. And basically, they just said, "Yeah, well, I can't do it myself." And I said, "Yeah, you can." And so I posted all of my Galactic Legends counter videos that I've been doing the last couple of weeks to their self promo area on their channel, on their Discord. So um, basically, it's a great resource. Certainly, it's a cool place to visit, and they have a lot of information on all the different events like Gas Unlock or Malak, etc., and so forth. It's a really good resource, and I highly urge any of y'all that haven't been there to go check it out. But long and the short of it is, I said, hey, you know what? I'm willing to help any of you guys figure this stuff out. As long as you reach out to me, I will do whatever I can, whatever specific comp you're having trouble with. I can help you with the move order or whatever else. And this one keeps coming up. So people keep getting stuck behind GK's taunt underneath this one, or if you face Purse Brothers and GK. So there's a couple of different ways to get around it, but the long and the short of it is you need to use the ultimate turn in order to lay in a debuff that stops buffs, and then you need to reduce GK's protection to nothing. If you can do that, once the invulnerability turn is over with, his taunt will disappear. But you have to have the either buff immunity or shock, or both. Take your pick. And you also should try to have ability block on him so that he doesn't cleanse them off on his own turn, which is really, really, really bad because, again, like I said, I mean, that stuff is always going to come back. If you were to cleanse off his taunt with Geonosian Brood Alpha, for instance, if there's a buff immunity on there, he's not going to get it back. But also, you can, for some reason, if you don't have a Dispel, you can reduce his protection to nothing and get into his hit points, and that also will cause his taunt to drop, because that's the only way that Watt is able to use his tech, that shield tech on him. It says that if you go and you look at this, the Bactoid shield generator, tanks taunt while they have protection. Well, if you reduce his protection to nothing, it's fine. So this is how it works. One more time. You give the tech to BSF and you fear right away. And of course, all buffs drop when fear is dispelled. So you can go ahead and fear GK and then lay in a lightning, and that will cause the buffs to disappear. And if shock is on, it will be great. But see, you can see he resisted it there. So GK still has taunt. However, you get a buff immunity from his basic too. So you're still able to cleanse it off by passing to GBA. Then that gives you the ability to taunt or to fracture. So you have those two opportunities. And then this is just an exercise in futility. It's the lamest thing. It goes super quick to half, and then you just have to wait out this fracture. It's just incredibly frustrating, but it is what it is. You can't allow her to take her turns, or else she'll decimate your whole party. So you just have to deal with it. But you see, we're just using basics, and we used Insanity to lay in fear to steal the turns from the rest of the team. And then, once again, now GK is taunting. And so I tried to get a lightning and a shock on this GK, but it seems like all the tanks on my shard love tenacity. And so he resisted, because the only person that can really lay that in guaranteed is going to be DR. Because DR, no matter what you do, he's going to be able to land his debuffs 9 times out of 10. And that's because of his base potency is like, well, I think mine is 50% or whatever. But then you get 8% per stack of ferocity, and bare minimum, you got 5 stacks, right? So that's 40% additional. If he's got 10 like this, that's 80% extra. And then on top of that, you get 50% from Basilishan Fallen's unique that she shares with him. So it's an astronomical amount of potency. And I don't care how much tenacity. I mean, I go up against 160 percenters and I can still lay in shock with my DR. It's just the other players really struggle. And you'll see here that a lot of stuff gets resisted by this GK that most wouldn't. Like, I'm going to miss a fear here with my Basilishan. And so, yeah, just check it out here as we move. But essentially, you get to this point where Rey finally loses her fracture. She goes into her ultimate, and she's holding everybody off. And the thing with the ultimate is it doesn't stop debuffs from landing. It just does one damage. It stops the damage from doing anything. So what you're going to try to do is get an ability block and some sort of buff immunity on GK while she's still in the ultimate before she does her jump kick flip move, whatever. So you're going to see here that just going to use the basic there. And then here I'm just going to do a basic, and there you go. We got the buff immunity on him. And he's still going to taunt because he still has some protection left. And he still has some protection left because you can't hurt him. And then here I'm going to try to do fear, but it's resisted. And then she does her jump attack. But now we can start dipping into that protection. And you can see he's losing turn meter because techies. Now right there. Now it's gone. And the reason that it disappeared is there's still a shock on him. And we reduced the protection so that it's gone. Now he's at half hit points. So once the protection's gone, then the Watt Tech gets rid of the taunt. And then on top of it, when you reduce his health down, you get the double whammy opportunity because then Rey gets Death Mark for a turn. So no matter what, you get that one turn that you can attack her. And then, so it's really easy. We get them both. The taunt's gone, and you get the death marks. So you can lay in the insanity, and then it's really easy to go ahead and finish her off. She's going to pretend that she actually matters for a second, and then she just gets dominated. Bye-bye. And then when this happens, then it's really simple matter. You just kill Watt immediately. He is not protected by anything Rey does. You don't care once Rey's dead. It's just a matter of getting around it. So GK gets his protection back a little bit, so he's going to have some taunt no matter what, but you just lay in that shock, and again, you get his protection gone, and his taunt disappears from the Watt Tech. You can get at everybody else. Then you can work on Revan and kill him because he can't savior himself. Can't savior himself. So that's the key. He's not going to res himself. If I killed GK there, he'd get saviored, and we'd have to go through some more rigmarole. But instead, we can just work Revan down to nothing, and he's done. Now, again, GK has protection again, but bye-bye. Now there's so much shock that's been on the board that BSF and DR are just breathing fire. It does not take long in order to finish the board at this point, so I've got the move order down now for this group where it's pretty much guaranteed. I haven't lost one against this team in a long time. So that's the base mechanics of it. I mean, it feels like you might get stuck behind a GK taunt, but you just have to remember, once his protection's gone, his taunt's gone. He's like Clone Sergeant in ships. You wipe out the protection, and the taunt just disappears. Unless you're throwing critical hits around, but that's a different story altogether. So anyway, that's that fight. And then I wanted to also go and check out this squad because I was asked to please figure out how to go up against Supreme Leader Kylo Ren and to defeat the 2-tank version with KRU and Lobster Trooper and Malak and Hux. So I did not have one on the Shard. I figured it would be pretty easy to defeat with the same team because now Malak isn't as much of a threat because you can't critically hit him when he has advantage. And so it's going to be really hard for him to get anything good going on because you can't critically hit him. He's not going to spread fear. So same thing here. Just back it up. We're going to stun Hux, and then we're going to lay in the lightning, AoE lightning, with DR. And some of these guys have pretty high tenacity, and it doesn't matter, again, because like I said, the potency interaction with ferocity and the BSF Zeta. And so once they get this on, then you're just going to pass to your Geonosian Brood Alpha. And then he's going to dispel the taunts. And that frees up. And you can see there we got the critical, and now he's feared by Malak, which is really useful. But now you're able to go ahead and get the fracture on Kylo and just work him. And fear the rest of the team. And that just makes it really, really, really hard on him. Because now, the thing is spiraling down, and this area effect here wipes out Hux. And then you're going to see Malak be irritating here in a little bit, and KRU. They're both going to step up once these debuffs disappear. And it's going to stink. He's going to get cleansed, and everything comes back now. And it's no fun. Lobster Trooper is going to go ahead and kill someone off, because he can do that. I think Solo will be the victim, if I'm not mistaken. But there's really not much you can do, and it's just not as much of a threat. Lobster is the threat that's left on the board right now. Once he's gone, then it's just not as big of a deal, because BSF and DR can take care of Malak. Yeah, see there, Lobster took care of him, but you can just get around this as best you can. I passed here so that I could clear buffs or do my best, but of course he's still got advantage, so you can't wipe it off completely. So I had to fracture him to get around it, and that allowed me to get to Lobster Trooper and finish him off. And then I just killed Malak because I got sick of him. DR is going to hammer him here because of all the shock that's been on the board. A big 79,000. And of course, KRU is really a pain in the butt to try to kill as well. He's got 10,000 healed, but you get a shock on him, and then he can't heal anymore. Just protection, and you can wipe him out. So that's how you can get through those two squads. Malak is not a threat necessarily with Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. I still feel like the First Order officer teams or the two tanks with extremely high tenacity are going to be your best bet if you're trying to set up your Supreme Leader Kylo for defense, but you're still not going to stop this team. It's just not going to work because of the way the potency interacts with DR. You're just not going to be able to block it. So the only thing you can do is try to make it difficult on people. I don't know really what else to say about it, except that this counter is built pretty well. And now that I don't really have any weak spots with it, my lowest relic is 4. It just works. It just works. So I highly urge you guys and gals to check it out. But like I said, it does. I am taking advantage of a Relic 7 Han Solo here. I'm not saying that you need one, but I'm saying that I have one. And I've never experienced trying to do this counter with less than that. So he's a pretty squishy guy and can get wiped out pretty easily if you're not careful. Mine also has a protection cross because I've never been able to get a really solid critical damage set high speed cross. So I use a protection one that's 21 speed instead. And it always seems to me that he survives by just a sliver. And what's funny is if you look at this, he's going to get wiped out from here, and Lobster is going to do that to him, and just 53,000 him. So no amount of protection was going to save him there anyway. So I think that offense is still going to be your best bet on there if you can help it. I don't have one for my guy. That's really the only blemish that I had on my Rebels, was I could just never get that offense cross for him. I have a beautiful one for my Luke Skywalker. It's 20 plus speed, and it's amazing. So anyway, I digress. Those are those two teams. I hope that you guys and gals had a nice weekend. Happy Sunday. And that you folks stay safe and you enjoy your work weeks. I appreciate the likes things and the subscribe things. If you feel like getting bothered by me, you do not have to. I'd much rather hear from you guys in the comments saying, hey, this really helped me out, or you got me so that I could actually defeat this team. And certainly if you have any other teams that you want to see me give a shot on the channel, leave them in the comments, and I will try to ask my shard mates to oblige so I can try to figure them out. But so far, I've been able to defeat every variation of Galactic Legend that I found on my server with this particular team, and then I just use my rebels to get rid of the gas teams because, quite frankly, I don't know how to beat gas with this particular lineup. Isn't that funny? Gas is so omnipotent that if you don't have a Galactic Legend of your own, he's pretty tough to beat unless you have a specific counter to take him out. So it's kind of interesting how that works. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate you guys and gals, and until the next video, Denny out.